Hey, Marianne, this is an off week for our podcast. What are we doing? What are we
Uh,
doing?
we just want to discuss a thing. We want to
A thing.
what's the thing?
Not a few things.
No,
A
not a
thing.
few things. No tangents. This is going to be very hard. I'm going to have to slap myself roughly during this
Or I could
entire
just
thing.
reach across. This is a great topic because it comes up. It's sort of like in the same very wide spectrum of being scared to prune plants, which we sort of talked about. There's a fear if you don't know what's going on, and there is fear for people mostly who aren't gardeners of plants that, yeah, if you sat down to eat that leaf, you would get sick. Um, but I feel like the fear is way out of proportion with the reality. And I think you feel the same way.
I very much feel the same way. And back in July, August of 2023, I wrote an article for the American Gardener as part of my In Defense of Gardening series, award winning. I had to do that. I had to do that. In defense of poisonous plants, because we are seeing that fear. And it seems to be you say a plant's name, and the first thing that comes back at you, Instagram, at a speaking engagement, whatever it is, comes back to you. Aren't you worried? Don't you have concerns?
You know that's poisonous,
You
right?
know that's poisonous, right? And I think it's this is being pushed by media, definitely, and then it starts to get pushed by people who had that little bit of information is power. When you've got a little bit of information and you can use it to sort of to talk to people and let people know you're an expert in whatever it is or that you know something, you people tend to use it. It's just human nature. And that's a big one. Poisoning pets and children and all of that. But back in 2023, because I got sick and tired of hearing this a lot, because some of the plants that I plant are poisonous. And 50 years ago, I don't think I really would have heard about it. I wouldn't have been, it was just assumed that you knew that Digitalis, foxglove, was poisonous and you're not going to go and munch on it. But I don't think that there was that level of, why are you growing it in your garden? You know that's poisonous, right? I mean, can you tell me, I mean, from your perspective 50 years ago in the garden, what was going on?
You- uh, well, I'll just tell you. Now, there were some vague references to the, what is it, the aconite? Aconitum?
Oh no,
Yeah.
not winter aconite. I'm sorry, aconitum. Yeah, monkshood.
Aconitum, which is a beautiful, it was one of my favorite perennials. It's a beautiful blue spire. It's sort of the delphinium of the early fall. And so when I went to plant that the first time, there was sort of an awareness, like in a book. I'm sure I saw in a book because this was way before
Was it Agatha
elect-
Christie? Because
electricity. No, I don't read fiction. It was probably that Hugh Johnson guy. Anyway, it literally is in some lines in Shakespeare. I mean, that is the demise of some of his characters, the aconitum. And so it's a very dangerous plant. And there are plenty of other plants that would make your stomach very sad if you sat down with a knife and fork. Don't eat plants and keep an eye on your children and dogs. I think it's pretty simple.
so there
God.
was okay, don't eat plants. Yes. I think for all of
Unless it's
us, we're not
lettuce
going to.
or
Yes,
something.
lettuce. Uh it was the children and dogs, the children and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I have two kids. They're old and grown and out of my house now. One of them followed the rules and one of them did not. And I will say, and was very strong willed. And I would say, I understand that there's differences in children.
Yes.
But
And dogs.
and dogs, and there's differences in dogs. But the only dog that that I've known in my undisclosed, previously disclosed years on this planet,
Not 100 years like me.
yes, that died because he ingested about 3 inches, 2 inches of barberry, a little tiny piece of barberry with spines on it. And it perforated his intestines, and he
Ugh.
died from that. Well, barberry wasn't poisonous to him. It wouldn't have killed him from its toxicity, but it killed him from its structure. Now, I got a lot of rugosa roses around here. I've got a lot of spiny things that, I mean, even cleome could probably hurt a dog if
Oh,
they
yeah.
ate it, right?
Mhm.
So we need to keep an eye on your pets and your children. And if you have one that's a little strong willed and likes to put a lot of stuff in its mouth, then you have to pay a little more attention. But that shouldn't, and it should make you adapt the way you're growing things. For instance, here's a terrific example. I grow castor bean. I'm a tropical enthusiast, and tropical plants and how to love them. Buy it now at Amazon. Or your local
That was sort of
bookseller.
a book moment, but sort of not.
That was
It wasn't as, I don't know, reverent.
I feel dirty now that
More of
I
a
just said that.
pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I grow a lot of this. This is ricinus, and it is the drug of choice, or the plant of choice that you dry and powder up and evidently send to Washington D.C. in envelopes. So, anyway, it's a very poisonous plant, and a lot of that poison, if not most all of it, is in its seeds. I just deal with the whole thing as poisonous, but I don't have any problems if I pick it and I have bare hands, not pick it, but I pull it out of the ground, what have you. However, I do have dogs that like to grab sticks. And so I put that on the very top of the bonfire area. Now, somebody might say, well, then all of the smoke will go in your lungs. I don't know. I haven't had that happen. We were fine so far. But I do tend to not let that drop. And certainly don't let I don't grow it close to the path where those big red seeds could be tempting to somebody. Although,
Okay, and so here's what I did when I grew that plant back in my old big garden. And my dear sweet dog was so old that she could barely get down the path, much less into the bed. So I knew that she was safe. But I was having a big bunny problem. I let those seeds drop. I let them drop, and I thought, maybe this will work. And I have no idea whether it did. I'm pretty sure they're smarter than that. But I think that a lot of the fear comes, you're right, from the news promoting the fear. It's kind of clickbait. Did you know that this was poison? Did you know that that
yeah.
was poison? I had a client who had me put in a garden, and there were some little what do you call it? I think there were little hemlocks that I put in. Anyway, she did have a toddler. We talked about it. I said, if she's running outside and running to that plant, only child, and really trying to put it in her mouth, yeah, we're going to have to do something about it. But she's probably just going over to the swing set. And I think she's at the age where you're always with her anyway. So maybe we just wait and see whether this is a problem. Because if that's a problem, that would hurt her quickly, because it was in the U family, and that's pretty poisonous. But other things would make her very sick. I mean, let's just make sure the 2-year-old is not sitting down with a knife and a fork outside instead of going to the playground. I
Yeah.
mean,
We've gotten
you
to
do have to keep an eye on your children and pets, but it is not a problem that needs to be dealt with unless it's proven to be a problem because you have an unusual child or pet.
I think that if you put your children into a car, if you put your pets into a car, they have statistically a much, much larger chance of being hurt in a car accident than being poisoned. And actually, I have statistics to that end. Thank you. Bringing up the data here. I looked through about 3 decades of poisoning reports from America's poison centers for this particular article. And if you looked at pediatric poison exposures only, not deaths, but exposures, personal care products topped the list. That represented 10% of cases. Household cleaning substances, another 10% of those, followed by analgesics, the pain relievers that we have at
Oh yeah.
8%, dietary supplements like vitamins at 7%, foreign bodies at 6.5%, and plants rated ninth on the list at 3.5% of exposures. Now, again, exposures is very, very different from actual poisonings, like urine hospital poisonings, or fatalities. Exceptionally small amount of deaths. That's what exposures, 2 million poison exposures. The act of coming into contact with any substance that can cause minor or major harm to the body. That can be everything from a fatal drug overdose, seriously, to poison ivy, all considered exposures. And so
Yeah.
it's not to say, hey, it's never going to happen.
Oh no, you could also get abducted by aliens.
No,
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 just
no,
kidding.
no. Come on now. You could
It's not like
also,
that.
yeah, no, you could also fall off a ladder. There's so many
Yeah,
things.
life is dangerous.
Life is dangerous. It should be dangerous. I mean, we can get, Leslie, you won't give me any time for this. You'll edit me all out. But this be safe thing that everybody says now, be safe. I hear it all the time. I talked about it on
Well, don't you
Garden
think it's
Rant.
a leftover from COVID?
It was very much. And it was sort of brought into public consciousness that was the thing to say at the grocery store. Be safe, be safe. No, I don't roll with be safe. I want to be smart. I want to be courageous in my life too. That doesn't mean taking stupid risks, but without some level of risk, our life is very boring. And risk doesn't have to be Evil Knievel. Does anybody even know who that is?
No, we're very old.
Whoever the hell is now riding dirt bikes over parked cars. It doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be not always letting yourself stop because there's a risk that somebody has identified for you. Daffodils are poisonous.
Oh my gosh,
Guys,
English ivy is poisonous. There's so many. It's just one of those facts of life. So enjoy your garden and don't worry about it and eat other things. Doritos are delicious.
can I just, because why not? Can I just say that it's not just media like your mainstream and needs clickbait media that's doing this. Some of our academic institutions do this too. And they very subtly make it a big deal for people. One of the best places to go for plant information is NC State Extension. And they have a wonderful, it's up with there with Mobot in my mind, with Missouri Botanical. I often go there for information on plants. The only thing that I really disagree with and I do not like is the very first thing they have, the very, very top in red with a big exclamation mark is poison severity. And that,
I mean, it's good information to have, but it's too bad that if it scares people off.
Because that just sort of reinforces, and human beings, this reinforcement gets us scared. We don't even realize it's happening. It's that subtle subliminal messaging that happens. And it's important. We, be brave, be smart.
No, as we would say to our teenage children who are so old now, make good decisions. And sometimes if Jeff is going off off at night to a party or something, with his mates, and I'll say, bye, honey, make good decisions.
Yeah, I've said that to Michael too.
That's all you need to do.
Make good decisions.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we've done it. Don't be scared of plants. Just don't eat the ones that you shouldn't be eating. And I do not mean to make light of this. And Marianne does not mean to, neither of us doesn't think that this is important. It's important information to have, but it's not something that you need to be fearful of. Just like taking off the wrong branch on a tree. It's all going to be fine.
Yeah. Try to have an open attitude about it. Accidents can happen. You want to work against those, but don't let it stop you growing something that is really great, like a hellebore or a freaking daffodil.
Oh my gosh. And by the way, if you do have small children or small dogs, just wait a minute. They grow. And the plants, you can grow them later.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay. All right. So I don't know what we're going to call this section. If anybody has any suggestions, write it in the comments below.
This is an
It's
in-betweener, isn't it? It's an
yeah,
in-between our big old podcast where we're going all over the place. And
it's just half a drink, half a
it's
cocktail.
half a cocktail. Oh, half
There
a
you go.
cocktail. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.